So after a fairly good rest and a fairly good night's sleep, I was eager to go places in Tokyo on day 2. Start of the day was quite interesting. I hadn't yet explored the shower facilities in the hostel, which gave you 2 basic choices. The first choice being kind of an open shower, which had kind of a constant flow of water. Or they also had enclosed showers. Unfortunately, while you're in these enclosed showers, you had to kind of keep your hand on the down on the tap at all times in order to keep the water flowing. It was the most difficult shower I've ever had, I think. The water flow is good, but yeah, it was a bit tricky to kind of wash yourself and keep your hand on the tap at all times. Interesting. Day started like any day should, and that was with alcohol. Not intentionally, mind. In the hostel they had a whole bunch of vending machines, and in the Asahi one, Asahi being a brand of beer in Japan, they had what looked like fruit drinks. So I bought what I thought was lemonade or something, always willing to try new things. Tasted it and thought, something a bit different about this one. Didn't actually notice it had alcohol in it until after I drunk it all. It was a fairly small amount though, so it's not like I was blotto right at the beginning of the day. So after breakfast, we had time to kill before our orientation at 12 o'clock. So the volunteers decided to go down to a local shrine. I don't actually recall the name of the shrine. It was very close to our hostel, pretty much a 10-minute walk away. It was kind of across a bridge. The shrine was kind of inside a kind of large walled complex. It had kind of a mix of traditional and modern buildings there. I'm not really sure what its purpose was, but the shrine was, yeah, it was really small, but it was quite pretty all the same. Yeah, it was nice to kind of have a small ramble before you know, we had to get down to brass tacks for the day.
Guys, as we're heading back.
Our orientation involved kind of touching on Japanese culture and etiquette and living in Japan in general. And to do this, Tomoko Ide, our latitude representative, introduced us to Mrs. Kobayashi. Now, Mrs. Kobayashi was from England, and she moved out to Japan at quite a young age, and has since, you know, married and now lives somewhere in the Tokyo area. She was a very charming lady. She, you know, gave us plenty of pointers on, you know, what to read while we're out there in terms of newspapers, what was available for English speakers, and a whole range of things, all sorts of kind of etiquette and so forth, things to avoid, things we should do, and so forth. So yeah, it was really informative. And it didn't last all that long either. Shortly after the orientation, all the volunteers decided to go to lunch. It took us quite a while to find somewhere that was kind of, I don't know, that looked good but was at the right price. But we eventually came across a really nice place. I can't remember the name of it at all, but yeah, the staff were pretty shocked when 13 people turned up at their door. Lunch there was delicious as well. I had all I can remember was that it was called Nimono on the menu. It was very tasty. It's like, I don't know, almost like a stew, I guess, like dumplings and carrots and stuff like that. It's all really tasty. So after lunch was finished, we met up with Tomoko, and she offered to take us to Harajuku. Harajuku's a district in Japan that's very popular for its shops, and also has a very nice shrine there, a very large shrine, called the Meiji Shrine. According to the Eyewitness Guide to Japan, the Meiji Shrine is the most important Shinto shrine in Tokyo. Meiji Jingu, or the Imperial Shrine, dates from 1920. The Emperor Meiji, who reigned from 1868 to 1912, and his wife the Empress Shokan, are enshrined here. During the New Year holidays, it is the most heavily visited place in Japan, with over 3 million people worshipping here and buying good luck charms for the year ahead. A wide gravelled road under a huge torii and shaded by cedars leads onto the shrine grounds. A left turn takes you under the massive o-torii, which is a huge gate, built in 1975 of huge logs that came from a 1,500-year-old Japanese cypress on Mount Tandai in Taiwan. A road turns to the right and enters the main shrine area. Now this is the main focus of our visit to the Meiji Shrine. Before we entered the Meiji Shrine's inner courtyard, we followed custom by purifying our hands using a cup and a fountain provided at the entrance. Another large wooden torii leads to the outer gate, through which is a spacious outer courtyard. A second gate, straight ahead, separates the public from the inner courtyard and the shrine. The simple shrine buildings are made of unadorned aging wood in deep hues of brown. The roof is copper, now oxidized bright green. Gracefully curving, the roof is in the Shinto style of architecture known as shimei. Around the other 3 sides of the outer courtyard are booths selling charms and prophecies for the new year. I have to say the Meiji Shrine is definitely the most impressive shrine I've seen in Japan so far. It was simply massive. As we went through the massive torii, to begin with, I was just astounded by the size of the gates leading into the place. I can well imagine 3 million people being there, because the paths were just so wide and the place was just so spacious. It was truly impressive. Also by the side of the path, as we were walking towards the main shrine grounds, were massive barrels of sake which had been donated to the shrine by just about everyone. These were kind of covered in ornate sheaths, all decorated with lots of kanji and kind of paintings. So yes, I couldn't not take footage of that. In the shrine grounds there was quite a large tree, and around this tree was kind of a wooden panelled wall on which people had hung all their wishes. You could pay about 500 yen and write a kind of small note on a card, and each day the priests kind of I think they offer the wishes to the gods,